If you're like me, you love AI and you really wish you could use your own data from your own sources much easier. Well, I have news for you. That's called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, and we're going to build a RAG application in just a couple of minutes. What I have in mind is something that will research a person at a company, pull information about my company, and then match this up into a nice email that invites a meeting. It's personalized and it also maps our services. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to do is add in information about my company. So in AnyQuest, I go to the Content tab, and let's put this in a separate folder just so we can stay nicely organized. We will call this Data Curl. We'll call this Data Curl Service Database. Very creative, I know. And then let's add in our file. I've prepared a simple file that lists what services we offer and who they're for, and this is now stored inside of AnyQuest. Now what I'm going to do is build a new agent. So this agent we are going to call Data Curl Email Customizer. We're aiming for the height in creativity here. Now, what I'm going to do now is kind of mock out the components for this so we can talk through what's going to happen, and then we'll wire it all together. I find that gives the best overview of how this all will work. So firstly, we will have a start component that'll take in who we want to research and where they work. Then we're going to have two generate components. One will research the company and one will research the person. Then we're going to call a retrieve component. And this is going to pull in the information about our company services that we offer. And then we're going to call a final generate component, and that's going to stitch everything together and make a nice email. So let me quickly wire this up. There, that looks pretty good. And now we're going to add in the content configuration. So for the start component, I'm going to give it a whom to research. Great. For the first generate, this is the one that will do the person research. So let's call this very simply research this person for a cold email outreach. We'll give this a nice title, research person. The defaults are fine, but I could have any provider I like. We'll add the Bing search tool so this research can take place, and then that's all set. Now let's add the research for the company. The prompt is going to be super simple. Research this company for a cold email outreach. Let me give it also, once again, a nice name. We'll accept the default model and also adding in the Bing research tool. Now for the retrieve, I've got to go get my information about my company. So if I click on retrieve and give it a nice name, I can then pick the correct folder. And the defaults will be fine here. Let's just organize this so it's slightly nicer. And then for the gen number 3, this is going to stitch everything together. So remember, when things are connected via lines in AnyQuest, there's a variable in scope that has the content generated for that component. So for person, I'm going to pull in gen 1. And I know this because I gave it a nice name. 2, once again, notice how when I hit double curly braces, I get the in scope variables. And number 3, this is my retrieval. So if you scan this, I'm saying draft a personalized email to the person below at the company below, offering the most appealing part of our service catalog. And then I've kind of organized the information to expect. Let's give this a, once again, nice title. We don't need any tools here because we have everything that we need. So I think we're good. Let's test it. So if I search Satya at Microsoft, let's see what happens. Now I'm going to go to the Activities tab so we can monitor this. The start component, I can validate that is what I put in. The company research and the person research activities are happening right now. It looks like the person has just finished. I could see it is in fact the person we want. The company research, this is in fact what we want. For the retrieve, this is my service catalog information. You can see I've paid no attention to formatting. The email that's been generated is personal and about Microsoft and Satya. Now, if we deploy this, which we will do, we can then add integrations. So we'll say first version. Great. And now what I want to do is send this out to an email address. So if I click on the integrations tab and choose email, and then I'm going to whitelist the AnyQuest domain, I'll have a special email for where this can get sent. There's other integrations as well. You can send things to Slack or ping the webhook of your choice. The possibilities are endless. What I like most about AnyQuest is it just takes a few minutes to learn, and it saves you from copying and pasting weird prompts and texts, allowing you to put together workflows that even the most AI challenged at your work can use and get consistent outcomes. Check them out at anyquest.ai.